Prime Field.
Welcome to Gamecock Station. I'm Brian, and tonight we examine a phenomenon that's reshaping women's college basketball, the USC Trojans' unprecedented talent accumulation. On a Friday in 2025, USC women's basketball head coach Lindsay Gottlieb achieved something no coach in the modern era had accomplished. With Saniyah Hall's commitment, she secured the nation's top-ranked recruit in 3 of the last 4 recruiting cycles. Hall, the number 1 prospect in the 2026 class, joins JuJu Watkins from 2023 and Jazzy Davidson from 2025. This convergence represents the most concentrated collection of elite talent in women's college basketball history. 3 number 1 recruits, each accustomed to being their team's primary offensive weapon, will share the same court in 2026-2027. But history suggests that assembling superstars doesn't guarantee success. In fact, it often predicts spectacular failure. The question isn't whether USC has talent. The question is whether that talent can coexist without destroying itself from within. Women's college basketball is littered with the wreckage of so-called super teams that crumbled under their own expectations. The evidence is stark and consistent. In 2017, Notre Dame assembled Jackie Young, Marina Mabry, and Arike Ogunbowale, all top 10 recruits. Despite their collective talent, the team struggled with chemistry and inconsistent effort. They never reached the Final Four. Earlier, Tennessee's 2008 recruiting class featured Glory Johnson, Shekinah Strickland, Amber Gray, and Alicia Manning. While they won a national championship, the group later fractured, with transfers revealing underlying tensions that even legendary coach Pat Summitt couldn't fully manage. Even Connecticut, the gold standard of dynasty building, faced documented growing pains when integrating multiple alpha scorers like Diana Taurasi, Swin Cash, and Sue Bird under Gino Auriemma. The common thread across these examples isn't lack of talent. It's the corrosive effect of too much talent, concentrated without a proven framework for sacrifice and role acceptance. USC's projected 2026-2027 roster presents a challenge of unprecedented scale. JuJu Watkins will likely be a senior, Jazzy Davidson a sophomore, and Hall a freshman, alongside other elite talents like Kennedy Smith. No coach in women's college basketball has ever managed 3 concurrent players of this singular magnitude, and the media attention that follows them. The core tension lies in the fundamental nature of Watkins, Davidson, and Hall as players. All 3 are ball-dominant, high-volume scorers who've built their careers as their team's undisputed focal point. JuJu Watkins' freshman season was historically dominant. She averaged 27.1 points per game and set a national record with 920 points, built on an astronomical usage rate. Davidson and Hall project as similar offensive engines. Saniyah Hall recently earned MVP honors at the FIBA U19 World Cup, averaging nearly 20 points per game with a complete scoring arsenal. Gottlieb's system, influenced by her NBA experience, emphasizes what she calls blueprints over rigid plays. This philosophy empowers stars to create, a system perfectly designed for Watkins' freedom to operate. However, this approach thrives on one primary artist, not 3. The psychological challenge is immense. Can Watkins cede significant possessions? Can Davidson and Hall, arriving as number 1 recruits expecting starring roles, thrive as secondary options? Elite athletes' egos are forged in being the one. They rarely shrink gracefully. Today's players navigate an unprecedented media landscape that amplifies every moment of success and failure. JuJu Watkins isn't just a player. She's a cultural icon, an ESPY winner, a social media magnet, and the face of Los Angeles sports. Every missed shot, every perceived slight between Watkins, Davidson, and Hall will be dissected across TikTok, Instagram, and sports talk shows in real time. The Elite 8 loss to UConn in 2025, complicated by Watkins' heartbreaking ACL injury, offered a glimpse of this pressure. The scrutiny surrounding 3 top-ranked talents competing for touches, accolades, and NIL dollars will be exponentially more intense. The blame game narrative becomes almost inevitable after any significant loss. External noise has the power to fracture even the most talented locker rooms, and these 3 players will face that scrutiny simultaneously. Lindsay Gottlieb, the 2025 Big Ten Coach of the Year, faces the defining challenge of her career. Her track record reveals both promise and significant concerns. Her strengths are considerable. Her NBA tenure with the Cleveland Cavaliers exposed her to simplified, star-centric schemes that prioritize player empowerment over rigid systems, crucial experience for managing elite talents. Her emotional authenticity fosters fierce loyalty among players. Her tearful senior day speech for seldom-used player India Otto resonated deeply throughout the program. She consistently defends her stars publicly, notably shutting down criticism of Watkins' efficiency. Her recent tactical success, including 4 straight victories over UCLA, demonstrates her ability to prepare teams for high-pressure rivalry games. However, critical weaknesses emerge under examination. She has never managed 3 concurrent players of this singular magnitude, and the hype that surrounds them. Her empowering coaching style risks enabling, rather than curtailing, ball dominance if clear hierarchies aren't established. Her system relies on what she calls artists, but art without structure what often becomes chaos. The question becomes whether she can implement the necessary, and potentially unpopular with structure and role definition that this situation demands. Gino Auriemma's supportive text message to Gottlieb after Watkins' injury showed professional respect, but Auriemma's system at UConn is notoriously demanding and role-specific, a model Gottlieb may need to partially embrace. A direct comparison with previous super teams reveals the magnitude of USC's challenge. USC's projected 2026-2027 roster features JuJu Watkins, Jazzy Davidson, Saniyah Hall, and Kennedy Smith. 3 number 1 recruits plus another top 10 talent. Their primary challenge will be integrating 3 number 1 scorers while managing extreme media hype and role definition. Notre Dame's 2017 team included Jackie Young, Marina Mabry, and Arike Ogunbowale. They failed to reach the Final Four due to chemistry issues and ball dominance conflicts. Tennessee's 2008 class won a national championship, but later experienced transfers that revealed long-term harmony challenges. UConn's early 2000s integration of Diana Taurasi, Swin Cash, and Sue Bird eventually produced multiple titles, but only after significant adjustment periods under Gino Auriemma's demanding system. The pattern is clear. Talent alone doesn't guarantee success. The teams that succeeded required exceptional coaching, player sacrifice, and often painful adjustment periods. USC's talent accumulation is indeed historic, but the path to a championship is littered with equally talented teams that failed to reach their potential. The risks are monumental. Chemistry fractures under competing scoring demands, media-fueled narratives that pit stars against each other, and the crushing weight of championship or bust expectations. Gottlieb's combination of empathetic leadership and professional-style systems provides a foundation for success, but it requires a radical evolution in her coaching approach. She must demand unprecedented sacrifices from generational talents who have been conditioned to dominate the basketball. The 2026-2027 season will test more than USC's skill. It will test the fundamental hypothesis that transcendent talent by itself breeds championships. The Trojans are walking a tightrope between dynasty and disaster, where the margin for error is vanishingly thin, and the entire basketball world is watching. Their greatest opponent may not be UConn, South Carolina, or any other team on their schedule. Their greatest opponent may be their own astronomical potential, and the human nature that comes with it. History judges super teams not by their individual stars, but by their collective sacrifices. USC's legacy, and the future of super team construction in women's college basketball, hangs in that delicate balance.